I never knew that God was going to use me in this way. I never knew God thought of me in a way that I could have a personal relationship with Him. Growing up, I just saw Him as this guy that created the world, and He's knows all and tells all, and He was scary to me growing up. I didn't think it would be something that I'd have a personal relationship, getting to know Him, and that He actually had a plan for me. As I slowly started getting older, my dad found a new church, and we started to go to that church. And in that process, I started to realize that God was more than just this thing that was out there, that He was actually somebody who did have a purpose for me and created me to do something great. When I started to join youth group, that's when I started to kind of make sense of this whole God thing and what faith was and that whole purpose on my life. The opportunity to go on a missions trip the year after I graduated, that summer in 2007. Once I met Pastor Brad and the Outstretched Hands group, my outlook on the whole experience just started to change, just because they were so welcoming. They were so excited to see us there to come and serve. In that whole process, they actually ministered to me and to my heart. They really got to the root. God really worked on my heart in that instance. I didn't want to leave when we got to the end of it. I did not want to go. And Pastor Brad, I remember it very clearly, before we left for the airport, he came up to me and said, "You'll be back." Ever since then, I've always had an itch to go back. Part of me has definitely stayed back in Romania. So that was 7 years ago. And after I got back, for the first month, I was very much missing Romania. I had culture shock, to be honest with you. And I had the culture shock from Romania, not anything else in Europe. I didn't want to use my computer. I didn't want my cell phone. I just didn't want a lot of that outside world, because it took away from a lot of what I had just learned. So I was very obedient with God and church and just having my faith. And then slowly that started to take a back burner again. I just started to get back into my old routine, back into old relationships. And so this last year, after this roller coaster of just life, I made the decision that I just had to get out of the life that I was living, and I couldn't do it anymore. And at first it was hard, but I knew that I had to do something. Something had to change. If it didn't, then I really felt that my life would be very short-lived. And I didn't want that for myself, and I didn't want my family to go through anything like that. So when I decided to start living again, I was very broken. And that vulnerability got me to cry out to God in a way that I've never cried out to Him before. And in that process, I was able to go through this healing process. And although it was painful at times, it was really a beautiful thing that God was doing in my heart. So with that, I've recommitted my life to Christ. And in that process, Romania has come up again, and I have the opportunity to serve, and I have the opportunity to serve in a big way, in more than just a 10-day mission trip. I'm able to do it for 6 months. While I'm over there, I'm going to be working directly with Outstretched Hands of Romania. Pastor Brad is going to put me in any situation that he feels led to put me in. I'm really putting this 110% in God's hands. I'm turning it all over to Him. I have no idea exactly what I will be doing over there, but that's okay. We'll do a lot of outreach with children, a lot of outreach with the poor, building churches, just spreading the gospel throughout Romania, these untouched regions of Romania, and just ultimately being the hands and feet of Christ. And that, to me, is very exciting, to be able to just experience that. And then when I come back, just going to be able to share that with everybody that I come in contact with. Yeah, God planted seeds that way back then, even before I went to Romania, that I didn't get at the time. I thought I did, but I clearly did not, and now I can look back and see and say, oh, I get it. I get it. There is a bigger picture here. I have a purpose. I have a calling.